Hi and welcome to Best in Tesla News episode 270. Tesla might have a new project called SIDEKICK, and automakers has been pulling down ads for trying to steal Tesla's crown. And Tesla is aiming for production of the 4680 cell with dry cathode this year. And the Chinese and European auto industry is now starting to negotiate. And we had some major announcement coming out of the cabinet meeting about Tesla. And we had some more shocking bad news coming from yet another German OEM. But BMW showed off some good Q1 numbers for their BEV sales. And Volkswagen also had a big jump in their BEV sales in Q1. And Tesla is now expanding their market for the Cybertruck and have introduced the more affordable version. All of this and much more in today's episode. Let's dive right in.
Let's put our living stereo stylus in this groove.
We had an automaker that had to pull back some ads as they were not truthful and tried to take the crown that belonged to Tesla as the most American made. Stellantis, the parent company of Jeep, Ram and Dodge, halted their Build in the US ad campaign after Truth in Advertising or Tina.org flagged them as deceptive due to the use of significant imported parts violating FTC rules that require all or virtually all components to be US made for such a claim. The Jeep Gladiator Mojave in the post image is assembled in the US but includes parts like engines and transmission sourced globally from Mexico, Italy and the Philippines, highlighting the gap between marketing claims and reality. The issues reflect the broader industry challenge. In 2021, the US imported almost $160 billion in automotive parts per automotiveaftermarket.org, showing heavily reliance on global supply chain despite American-made branding. Yes, many of the American brand have branded themselves as American-made, but after Tesla came into the picture, that has become a bit hollow, as Tesla does make the most American-made cars. As the Tesla Model Y made in the Fremont factory is built in America, the electric motor is built in America, and the batteries are not just built in America, it is Tesla's own batteries being made in the Nevada factory in collaboration with Samsung. So Tesla could make advertising about how they have the most American-made cars. But not only just one. Like I showed you in the Overflow News show where Peter Navarro wrongly crapped on Tesla for not making their cars in the US. Well, CNBC corrected him and showed this list. And as you can see, this is the Made in America Auto Index. And Tesla doesn't just hold the number one spot, they hold all the spots on this list here. Cybertruck is the most American-made truck on the market, not the Jeep or the F-150 Lightning. No, the Cybertruck is the most American-made. And at the same time Tesla has stolen that honor, Tesla also made the toughest truck ever created, making it sound so hollow once again when Ford says build tough. Well, not as tough as a Tesla. So yes, Tesla came in and really shook the US auto industry. And I'm always working on my content for my YouTube channel, so it's very important for me to always stay connected. Like last year when I was out traveling basically every single month, so it was very important and I was always connected even on the go. This connectivity brings with it a critical need for privacy and security, which is why I'm excited to talk about today's sponsor, NordVPN. VPN stands for Virtual Private Network with an emphasis on private. It encrypts your internet traffic, masks your IP address, and hides your virtual location, significantly enhancing your online privacy and security. In today's climate, where cyber threats are as common as they come, a VPN makes hacking close to impossible. And I have personally been using NordVPN many times when abroad. Remember when I was in the US for the Fully Charged live show, I was using the public Wi-Fi there, which isn't exactly known for its security, but with NordVPN I ensured my connection remained private and secure. Plus, while I was there, I could still watch my favorite Danish shows as if I was back home. It's just a matter of changing my IP to Denmark and I'm all set. And let's not forget the time when I was in China last year. There, access to the platform like YouTube or Google or many others is heavily restricted. NordVPN lets you bypass these restrictions, maintaining your connection to the digital world, so I could still upload to YouTube. Without a VPN, that would have been impossible. But NordVPN goes beyond just altering your IP. It blocks malware, stops intrusive tracking, and instantly nicks those annoying ads. Plus, it provides an always-on cybersecurity seal, protecting you even when you are not actively connected to the VPN server. So I do use this at home as well. The user interface? Dead simple. Just click the country you want and your IP address changes in an instant. If this sounds like something you need, NordVPN has an exclusive deal for you. Head over to the link in the description, nordvpn.com/bestinTesla, to snag a 2-year plan with a huge discount and additional 4 months for free. It's completely risk-free with their 30-day money-back guarantee, so you have nothing to lose. So click the link to start enjoying a safer, more open internet today, and a big thanks to NordVPN for sponsoring this video. And speaking of American-made, Tesla has made a battery that is not just made by Tesla themselves, it has also become the most affordable EV battery for Tesla. As Michael Guilfoyle, director for cell manufacturing operation at Tesla, wrote on LinkedIn, "Been waiting to acknowledge this great achievement by Tesla's 4680 cell manufacturing team since the end of last year. But as Elon announced last night, our cell manufacturing team in Texas reached a huge milestone at the end of 2024 with becoming the lowest cost per kilowatt-hour battery producer for Tesla. The grit, determination, and passion of our team is unbelievable in helping deliver our mission. Big thanks to our entire engineering and production team for making this happen. It is the greatest honor of my career to lead this team and make such a big impact in our mission to accelerate the world's transition to sustainable energy. And we aren't done yet. 2025 will have more big milestones with fully ramped drive battery electrode manufacturing to deliver even more cost efficiencies. Exciting teams continue to be ahead. Cheers to this world-class team. Yes, it has been a long time underway. The 4680 cell was revealed in September 2020 at Battery Day, but Tesla has been struggling to get the bottlenecks and the technical issues ironed out. But it seems like we will get a nice good push this year by also getting the dry battery electrode included in the 4680 cell in high volume. The cathode typical account for about 30 to 50% of the cost of the electric vehicle's battery, depending on the battery chemistry, material use, and market conditions. So for Tesla to be able to make this themselves in the cathode refinery in the US as well has a big cost advantage for Tesla. The main benefit of using dry cathode process, like Tesla's approach with the 4680 battery, is cost reduction alongside some environmental and efficiency gains. So Tesla's 4680 cell is already the most affordable one that Tesla can get for its cars, but it will become even cheaper as they scale production of both the battery cell but also the cathode refinery and get all of that integrated into the 4680 cell at scale. Getting ready for mass production of Cybertruck and Optimus next year that will both be using this battery. But Redwood Materials is also making cathode in the US now, as they wrote. The clean energy future runs on battery, and cathode is at the core. Right now, no CAM is made at a commercial scale in North America. Redwood is building the US first domestic supply chain from the ground up, starting with the new black gold. And the trade wars that Trump has ignited has made the Chinese and the European auto industry starting to negotiate. The European Union and China have agreed to look into setting a minimum price for Chinese-made electric vehicles instead of tariffs imposed by the EU last year, as the European Commission spokesperson said on Tuesday. This follows the EU's October 2024 decision to impose tariffs on Chinese EVs due to state subsidies, with ongoing talks aiming to address market distortion while avoiding a trade war. These tariffs was as high as 45% on top of the EU's standard 10% for car import duty, aimed at countering the competitive advantage Chinese OEM have due to the state subsidies. That was also why Tesla got less tariffs on their car imported from the Shanghai factory, as they don't get subsidies from the Chinese government. If successful, this could flood the EU market with cheap Chinese EVs like BYD, increasing competition for the European automakers and Tesla. The Chinese OEM would technically sell their cars at a higher price in the EU due to the minimum price required. This could increase their revenue and profits per vehicle sold, assuming demand remains stable. However, this doesn't necessarily mean that they will earn more money overall. The higher price might reduce their competitiveness in the EU market, potentially leading to lower sales volume. If they sell fewer cars, their total revenue might not increase as much as their higher price per unit suggests. But I think the Chinese OEM are pretty happy with a deal where they can sell all the cars they want in the EU without getting huge tariffs, but just a minimum price. The EU's goal is, of course, to protect its own automakers. But if the minimum price isn't set high enough, the Chinese OEM could still dominate the market, just at a slightly higher price point. On the flip side, if the price is too high, the Chinese OEM might lose their competitive edge, which could limit their expansion into the EU market. It is a delicate balance, and the outcome will depend on the specifics on the agreement, which are still under negotiation. And we had some major announcement coming out of the cabinet meeting this week about Tesla, and Elon also had some big news about Doge. The Attorney General Pam Bondi talked about prosecuting Tesla terrorists.
And, you also gave us a directive to prosecute the people who are going after Tesla to the fullest extent of the law, some of the greatest police work I've seen. We've made 4 arrests. There will be no negotiations at your directive. They're all looking at 20 years in prison, and within the next 24 hours, you're going to be seeing another huge arrest on a Tesla dealership, President, and that person will be looking at least 20 years in prison with no negotiations.
That's great.
So it was probably not worth it for these terrorists to get 20 years in prison. Ouch. But Elon also made some announcement about reducing waste by $150 billion by Doge. Now that is a lot of money.
Well, thanks to your fantastic leadership, this amazing cabinet, and the very talented Doge team, I'm excited to announce that we anticipate savings in FY26 from reduction of waste and fraud by $150 billion. And and some of it is just absurd, like people getting unemployment insurance who haven't been born yet. I think anyone can appreciate come on, that's just crazy. Some of these things, people ask me well, how are you going to find waste and fraud in the government? I'm like, well, actually just go in any direction. That's how you find it. It's very common. it's as the military would say, target-rich environment. So I think we're doing a lot of good and excellent collaboration with the cabinet to achieve these savings. And it will actually result in better services for the American people, and then we're going to be spending their tax dollars in a way that is sensible and fair and good.
And your people are fantastic. In fact, hopefully they'll stay around for the long haul. We'd like to keep as many as we can. They're great, smart, sharp, right? Finding things that nobody would have thought of. Very computer savvy.
Yes. We're working hard to get the Trump Gold Card operational, hopefully in the next week or so.
That'll be very exciting. It's really exciting. That's a pathway to citizenship into the United States.
It's a big deal.
Yep, it's a big deal. Thank you very much. Great job.
And we had some more shocking bad numbers from yet another German OEM. I talked about Mercedes that saw some troubling numbers in my Overflow news show, but here is Alex posting about Porsche's Q1 numbers, and as he wrote, sales of Porsche vehicles collapsed in Q1. Porsche sold year-on-year 8% less vehicles in Q1. China was down 42%. Ouch, their most profitable market. And Germany was down 34%. Ouch, their home turf. And Europe without Germany was down 10%. US up 37%. So this is a trend that I have shown before, that the German OEMs are losing China fast, but how can they keep their sales figures up or not dropping as sharply as you would expect? Well, you shift your focus from China to the US, but now Trump is making that difficult as well with the new tariffs, as Porsche does not build or assemble any Porsches in the US. They don't have many places left to run. And Porsche only sold in Q1 a total of 7,000 BEVs. Taycan's sales were down 22%. And as Alex also writes here, even though some may believe or claim that Porsche's US sales are doing well, the fact is that sales were pulled forward because customers knew the 25% Trump tariffs will make the entire product line much more expensive. Therefore, Q2 sales will be very poor and Q1 growth is not sustainable. Well, let's keep an eye on those numbers. Overall, these figures are shockingly low, both in China and Europe. Porsche has a serious problem, and I don't see any positive development at the company. The BEV production are not selling, the hybrids are not selling, the ICE car is not selling in major markets. I have said it many quarters ago and say it today again. CEO Blume completely failed with his strategy and execution at Porsche and should have been fired a long time ago. Yeah, the Porsche Taycan was supposed to be the Tesla killer, right? But it really doesn't look like they are killing anyone, really, but rather being killed. In China, I do think I know what the problem is. We only need one picture to show what Porsche's problem is in China. A car that looks like the Porsche Taycan can beat the Taycan around the Nürburgring, and the Ultra even have a nice front and driver assist systems with LiDAR, but the price is a quarter of the Taycan. How do you compete against that? Well, as you can see, you don't. And let's squeeze in the last short news topics into this new show. Yes, it's time for the Tesla Shorts. Some good news from the BMW Group that delivered 109,000 all-electric cars in Q1 of 2025, up 32% year-over-year, making an 18.7% of the company's total sales purely electric. Very nice. And 1 in every 3 vehicles delivered by the Mini brand were pure electric. So very nice to see a European automaker getting this high in pure BEV sales. But if we compare them to the rest on a global scale with Alex's chart here, we can see that German brands are nowhere near Tesla or BYD's sale. So still quite a way to go to really call themselves competition to Tesla or BYD. And as I said in my Overflow news show this week, Tesla has opened a new market in Saudi Arabia. But Tesla also made a new video, and they are including the Cybertruck in that video. So I checked out the website, and Tesla is going to sell the Cybertruck in Saudi Arabia. They write it will begin deliveries in late 2025 of the Cybertruck. Very cool. But we can also see that it will come in 3 versions: the Beast, the all-wheel drive, and the long-range version that is a rear-wheel drive. So that is the cheapest version that was not yet available in the US. So it looked like it wouldn't be long before we will see the launch of the more affordable Cybertruck in the US as well. And the day after, Tesla did announce that the Cybertruck long-range rear-wheel drive was now available in the US for $62,490 including tax credit. So in 2019 US dollars, adjusted for inflation, that is equivalent to about $50,000. So the Cybertruck only ended up being $10,000 more expensive than originally planned. But you also get 100 miles more range. You even get more miles than what they showed off with the middle one in 2019. So not as bad as people want it to look like, as the price lines up very nicely with the middle one with inflation calculated in. So I know Tesla get a lot of hate because of this, but Ford's $40,000 Lightning also ended up being about $10,000 more expensive as well. But this will open up a much bigger addressable market for the Cybertruck. So let's see if this will get the order book going again. But a nice lineup that Tesla is starting with in Saudi Arabia, with the refreshed Model 3 and Y and the Cybertruck. Not bad at all. But it will also be launched in the United Arab Emirates and Qatar. And Elon Musk just announced Grok 3.5 on live stream, saying it's coming soonish, and he also teased Grok 4, confirming it's coming this year. So that's very cool. And speaking of Grok, I did make a video about Grok that might have leaked that it will be integrated into Tesla's vehicle with the spring update here in April. But while my follower saw that video, he had Grok open and it might have spilled some more beans again. Or it might be nothing, but Grok talked about something called SIDEKICK. As it wrote, once I'm integrated, like maybe with the Sidekick of future updates. And he asked about what's the Sidekick, and it wrote, it might be imagined as a new Tesla vehicle dropping in June 2025, maybe with me integrated for navigation and in-car tasks, maybe even using Starlink. So that all sounds very interesting. It could of course be nothing, or maybe we should start getting excited for a new car called Sidekick, because it might end up being your little sidekick on the road. Well, anyway, Grok got me all excited again. And what do you know? Like I said last year, when German BEV sales were down, I said this will only be temporary, as we have seen in many other countries that has cut incentive for their BEV programs, and now we are seeing that BEVs are back to normal levels, as you can see here on Electric Next chart, and even higher than they have ever been before. Imagine my surprise. And BEV adoption in China reached a new record high of 32.8% in March, as Roland could share on his nice chart, so that is quite a nice jump from March last year that was about 22%. BEVs are rising fast in China. But the UK also have got some impressive BEV adoption numbers, as Nick also shared. BEV growth in the UK is still going strong, as Europe's second largest car market, the UK, saw battery electric vehicle reach 20.7% share in Q1 2025. Nice. And we had a little video from China of Tesla's full self-driving safety maneuvers, as an electric scooter crossed the road, but full self-driving promptly slowed down to avoid it. Very nice. And they shared these charts and wrote, the Tesla and Nvidia short sellers are being squeezed hard. I told them not to bet against the two most epic companies you can own right now. Yeah, just a friendly word of advice. Never bet against Elon Musk. And also Warren Buffett shared some advice to all the people that panic sold all their stocks.
Some people should not own stocks at all because they just get too upset with price fluctuations. If you're going to do dumb things because your stock goes down, you shouldn't own a stock at all. No, I mean,
what are dumb things? Selling a stock?
Yeah, selling a stock because it goes down. I mean, if you buy your house at $20,000 and somebody comes along the next day and says, I'll pay you $15,000, you don't sell it because the quote's $15,000. You look at the house or whatever it may be. But some people are not actually emotionally or psychologically fit to own stocks. But I think more of them would be if you get educated on what you're really buying, which is part of a business. And the longer you hold stocks, the less risky they become. Whereas the longer the maturity of a bond, the more risky it becomes.
And Sawyer got a video of the new paint from Tesla, as he wrote, first up close look at Tesla's brand new diamond black paint color on the new Model Y. The sparkling looks awesome. This was spotted next to Tesla's public showroom at the Fremont factory. Looks very nice. And we saw Sandy Munro get an award. As they wrote, we are incredibly proud that Sandy has been awarded the SAE International Award for Influential Executive in Automotive, honoring Henry Ford II. Founded by Ford in 1988, the prestige award recognizes executive leaders who have dedicated their careers to advancing the automotive industry, and there is no more deserving than the tear-down titan. Congratulations, Sandy. Well deserved.
So Sandy, you done it. Good for you.
And Sawyer shared, Tesla has removed the Model S and X order figurator in China. You can now only buy Model S and X through inventory. This is likely due to the current tariff situation. The Model S and X are made in California, or maybe they are just getting ready for the refreshed model. Who knows? And we also saw Omar sharing a video of Tesla's full self-driving doing some very clever driving, overtaking the queue and waiting to merge until the very last minute. Very human-like. And the Boring Company opened a new station of the company's Vegas Loop extension from the Las Vegas Convention Center to the in-core at Venn, Las Vegas. A quarter of a mile one-way tunnel costing $6.25 round trip. A follower of mine shared some videos from the ride and also shared some pictures of the loop as it stands today. 4 free stations you can try out at the convention center, and now 4 other stations have come online. And we had Xpeng gunning for the Tesla Model Y in a new ad while they keep copying everything they can from Tesla. Why not Xpeng G6? But Xpeng still relies on Apple CarPlay, as you can see. I know many people like Apple CarPlay, but that is not a luxury software feature. It just shows you that you can't make the necessary software yourself. Apple CarPlay does not set your car apart. You'll find Apple CarPlay in even the cheapest cars on the planet. But Xpeng probably hope that their Model Y copy can gain some ground, because in 2024 it just sold about 55,000 globally, compared to Tesla's Model Y's 1.1 million. But even though the Chinese like to copy Tesla, it's not as easy to copy their safety. As Teslarati shared on X, when things get hairy on the road, which car would you rather be in? Teslas, like the Model 3, offer safety like no other. They're incredible tough and armed to the teeth with a myriad of actions and passive safety systems. And the Volkswagen Group more than doubled its deliveries of battery electric cars in Europe in Q1 2025 to over 150,000 units, from 75,000 units in Q1 of last year. So that's very nice to see, but stricter CO2 emission will have that effect. And Sawyer shared that Tesla has released some official renders and plans of its ecological paradise at Giga Texas, according to a new filing. And it will include 25 miles of new walking trails, 18 miles of new bike trails, a waterfront, and a Tesla Expo and Sport complex with soccer, baseball, basketball, and tennis facilities, riverfront boardwalk, fishing areas, and a playground and an orchard. 3.8 miles of riverfront with direct access to Giga Texas, 290 acres of waterfront green space, 8 wildlife corridors, 3,000 trees planted per year, 20,000 households will benefit from ecologic paradise in southeast Austin, and more. Sounds very nice. And with all the hate and keying of Teslas we have seen lately, this video was a nice change of scenery. As Nick wrote, these are the Sentry Mode clips we should be talking about. We need more people like this guy. Nothing but love for the Cybertruck. Nice. And before we end off with a bit of fun, I just want to make a quick shout out to my newest supporters of this YouTube channel. My new YouTube member, David Lucas. Thank you so much for all your support. I am doing this all by myself, but you guys are all the producers of this new show. Thank you. And let's end off with a bit of fun. So we have had some really big fluctuations in the Tesla stocks lately. So I thought, let's zoom out and get a little perspective by going back in time with a little post from the Shorts historian. You know you have too many puts when you're seriously considering getting a Lambo if Tesla Q's blows. Yes, I guess he's still driving his mom's van. That is all we have time for in this new show. Hope you enjoyed it. If you did, don't forget to hit that like button. It really does help this video out a lot so others can find it on YouTube. And if you did like it, maybe you want to consider hitting that subscribe button, notification bell, so you don't miss out on future videos just like this one. And if you're already a subscriber to the channel, thank you so much for the support. But if you want to support the channel even more, remember you can, for as little as $1, become a patron of this channel, or become a member of the YouTube channel to get a shout out as some extra perks like early access, ad-free versions of my videos, exclusive videos. So hit the members button or check out Patreon to find out more. And don't forget to follow me on X. I post pretty much all the news as it comes out and a lot more. And check out the merch store to get some merchandise and support the show. It is also possible to support the show without becoming a member or a patron. There is a donation option down below or on my website bestintesla.com. You can also become an executive producer and get news articles, exclusive videos, behind the scenes, and access to all my research, charts and spreadsheet also on bestintesla.com, or as simple as hitting the super like button. And thank you for watching. And until next time, take care out there and be nice.